What is up, everybody? Today, I just got back on Saturday. It is Monday, and I wanted to give you guys an update on the Icon of the Seas, the biggest boat in the world. Okay, as you can see, me and the family went on the cruise. I'm going to scroll through these a few times probably, but let's stick with this one for now. So, the Mariner was next to us, and as you can see, it's literally double the size of the Mariner from Icon. Now, I want to go over some pros and cons of the ship because, to be honest with you, the ship was absolutely incredible. There was some absolute huge wins for this ship, and then some things that I've been asked. Because let's be honest, when I got back, I had over 100 DMs between Instagram, Facebook, etc., about the ship in general, and so I wanted to give a full review on the ship and pros and cons of the ship. So let's start off with the thing that most everybody was talking about, which was the price. Okay, so the price of the ship obviously was very large, right? And we booked this cruise last year. So last spring break, we decided to try the kids, see how they would do on a cruise. And obviously, as you can tell, we have little kids. So seeing how they would do. So we did a 4-day freedom, Monday through Thursday on their spring break. They absolutely fell in love with the ship, and they love the boat. They love the cruises. They love the getting off the boat. They love the islands, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we decided to book on Icon to have that memory of being on the biggest boat in the world. Okay, got to take a sip of my First Form energy. Anyway, so we decided to do that, and it cost us. I'm just going to be straight up with you guys. It was expensive. Okay, we had balcony rooms, we had conjoining rooms. Yes, we got a lot of perks. That being said, it was very expensive. We went to at the end of this cruise to book next year's cruise, and we ended up not going with Icon due to the price factor for the amount that you get. Okay, and just from last year when we booked to this year, the same cruise roughly, it was going to go to different islands, but the same 7-day cruise, same room setup, was going to cost us 1.5 times more than it cost us to go on this one. And this one was insane. So just to give you guys an idea, we booked for next year for a 7-day cruise going on Eastern Caribbean on Symphony of the Seas. I'm going to explain why in a minute, but on Symphony of the Seas in 2 junior suites for literally less than half that this boat would cost us to go on again in balcony rooms. And when you have 6 people, the balcony rooms, there's not a lot of room in those rooms, okay? I know that some people are probably like, oh, first world problems, but it is what it is, okay? I own businesses, and my father-in-law's a retired dentist after 30 years. Like, we're not poor. So I'm just telling you that, like, I'm not bragging. I'm not saying anything. It's like we're in the grand suite or the $80,000 a night room, like the 2-story suite. Like, we're not doing any of that crazy shit. But like, we're also not going to stay in an interior room with 6 people. Okay, like we're not going to do it. So basically, let's go through the boat. The Icon. First off, let's go over the pros. Okay, the pros. It is absolutely beautiful. The new elevator system. So no longer are you in a boat where some idiot kid gets in and presses all the buttons, or some dumb old man or some drunk gets in and presses, oh, I put the wrong button, and then you have to stop at every fucking floor. Or you get in the other situation where you magically have to stop at every floor and there's no one there because they push all the buttons, and then when they just get in an elevator and then they just say screw everyone else. So no longer is that a thing on the boat. Great. You basically tell it which floor you're going to go to. There's multiple banks of elevators. It will tell you which elevator to go to. You wait for that elevator to open. You go in. There's no buttons to press. You ride to your floor and you get off. Incredible system. Like, I wish every boat moving forward in the history of cruises did it this way. It was phenomenal. Okay? Huge, huge pro. Now, the Wizard of Oz show, which was supposed to be their absolute unbelievable show, they literally had to cancel it the first couple of days because of technical issues. They tried to fly in a team from Finland to fix them in time during the week. Couldn't do it. They did a super scuffed version of the musical. The actual singers and the performances, were incredible, but they should have just canceled the show. And the reason is because all it made everybody do was go, man, this show would have been absolutely amazing had they have actually had other stuff. Why do I say that? Well, because the Aqua show was unbelievable. The ice skating shows with the juggling guy and everyone else was unbelievable. Just absolutely incredible what they were able to do. So, with the lighting, with the ambiance, with the themes, with the screens, with the, I mean, unbelievable what they were able to do with these shows in comparison to the other boats that we've been on. We've been on Norwegian, Carnival, multiple Royals, right? Royals our favorite, but unbelievable, unbelievable, unbelievable. It only made me sad that we didn't get to see the Wizard of Oz the way that they intended to do it, because I guarantee it's like all the reviews from people who have seen it said it was unbelievable. I know everybody on our ship, there was some people who were absolutely livid. There was nothing they could do. They couldn't fix it. If it was me, I would have just canceled the whole thing altogether and not have put on the super scuffed version, because it didn't do anybody any favors. There was literally people walking out. You could hear how pissed off people were in the crowd. And that was really the only black eye, right? That was literally the only one. As far as ports, there was no issues. As far as maneuverability of the boat, there was no issues. I was surprised that there was still some sea sway, right? Given how big the boat is. Obviously not as bad as some of the other boats, but like unbelievable the size of this boat, the magnitude of this boat. That's actually a pro and a con, if we're going to be honest. And the reason is because it was so big that you got literally tired walking from one end to the other. So to give you an idea, we were in the back of the boat, right? We were in the aft section of the boat. The forward of the boat is where the fitness center was. And we were walking, like, it felt like you're walking a quarter mile to a half mile every day just to go to the gym and go back to your room. So when you had to go to the theater, which is the other end of the boat, or the food, or you wanted to go to a show and then you wanted to go to dinner, whatever, like a ton of walking. The Royal Promenade, unbelievable. Central Park, unbelievable. Like, pro and a con here with Central Park and with Surfside. I'm going to get into that in a minute. But basically, the pro is, it is, like, you can tell they spent $2 billion on this boat. The bars are all top-notch. The service was top-notch. The employees were top-notch. The dinner was top-notch. The specialty restaurants were top-notch. The bars and the entertainment were all top-notch. Mr. Washy Washy, the most unbelievable Mr. Washy Washy, like, he stole the show of the whole ship. If you guys don't know what I mean, go on a Royal Caribbean, go to try to eat dinner without washing your hands. They literally have people singing. They had a whole playlist of songs that they invented Washy Washy to. It was phenomenal, just phenomenal. Can't say enough good things. Having two different coffee shops on a boat this size, amazing. You didn't have to go to Starbucks. They had their own upstairs behind the Pearl. Unbelievable. The Pearl itself, unbelievable amount of money. The only downside of this is I felt terrible. Like, I could never own this boat because the way that kids beat the shit out of this boat and were pulling on things and messing with things and just treating it so disrespectful was, to be honest, a black eye. And I know that Royal is very, like, they won't ever basically tell you no or be harsh with people, but they need to incorporate some type of security system on this boat, like security officers, just for the general well-being of the ship. Like, the dartboards were already temporarily broken, which I know what happens is some kids went and fucked them up. The arcade, and keep in mind, we're only like the 7th or 8th cruise that's gone on this boat, right? It just started the end of January, and they're week-long cruises, okay? The arcade in Surfside was already getting beat to hell. These kids are just being assholes. Like, it got to the point where, like, I was saying stuff to people. I was like, hey, like, there was one kid who just kept breaking the basketball game so that he could shoot hoops from across the arcade. And I finally was like, dude, either pay money or get the fuck out of here. Like, it's just, like, it's insane, the just level of spoiled brat that some of these kids are. And I understand that parents can't watch their kids all the time, and I understand that, like, Royal doesn't ever want to step on anybody's toes, but they need something on this cruise to be like, hey, treat this boat fucking respectfully. Because it was, like, it really made me sad. Like, I could never imagine owning this boat all the hard work, the blood, the sweat, the tears that went into this, all the training, the staffing, the countless hours and attention to detail just to have some of the kids do what they did. That was a black eye for me. But that being said, they even did shows in the Royal Promenade. Like they do the Pirates show, they did these jazz shows, they did dancing, they did balloon drops. Just spectacular. Unbelievable job. The way that this crew handled everything was unbelievable, and they should for the price. But they really did. The drinks, unbelievable. They had so much variety in the drinks, so many cool different bars and every bar had their own kind of unique spin on it. The casino was top notch as far as cleanliness, minimal smoke, right? Just the level of machines, the level of slots, the amount of tables. It was actually very dead, a lot of the cruise, which was surprising to me. But again, when you have a primarily family cruise, you're not going to get a ton of that casino traffic. Whereas on some of the other boats, it was like the casino was packed from the minute it was open to the minute it was closed, right? Like there was always people in the casino. So that was weird. But they have a music hall where they do concerts. Unbelievable. One of the other big cons is the kids area. Now, while this is a family cruise, the Surfside area with the carousel, the arcade, the sugar factory, the separate dining, the water area for them to play. I mean, they had Admiral Awesome or whatever who would do activities with the kids. They had family dance parties. They did a great job in the kids area. The problem is if it's a family boat, the issue is there's no pools down there. There's like the little baby pool kind of, which doesn't count. And then they have like basically the same version of what you would find on like some of the Oasis class ships, just in a separate area for the kids. Whereas on some of the other ships, what I actually like, and I think what a lot of parents actually end up enjoying, is the fact that the kids' pool area and the kids' slide area is connected to the big adult pool. So you can get both worlds. With this boat, it was very separate, and the pool was structured so that you didn't have like the belly flop contest, which to be honest is some of the most fun. They didn't really have a stage area to do things on the top deck because like they just, obviously there's the open Central Park area, but they didn't have like the big pool general area, big stage area where they could do cool stuff. They didn't have that. And to me, that's a big part of the community side of Royal Caribbean, right? And really Carnival and any of the other ships is that big central outdoor, everybody's hot, everybody's in their bathing suits, everybody's drinking, everybody's partying, everybody's having a good time, the kids are there, everybody's in a good mood. There wasn't that central congregation area. And again, it could just be due to the size of the ship, right? Big ship problems. The water slides on the cruise, unbelievable. The Thrill Island section, unbelievable. The Flow Rider section, unbelievable. The adults only area with the Infinity Edge pool where you can just stand in the water and look out over the back of the boat. Absolutely incredible. They did a phenomenal job with that. It's just absolutely gorgeous. The pool, though, would be the one downside. Their main pool, like their big pool area that everybody can go to, just wasn't conducive. It's not big enough for the amount of people, and that was the only thing that I think they could use a redesign. Now the swim up bar, really cool, but again, because kids are allowed in it, which I don't understand, it's a swim up bar. I think that should be 18 plus as well. Like just because there was kids that were like jumping in and splashing and trying to swim, and like it's just adults all over the place with cocktails. So like you're getting pool water in your drink, you're pissed off, you're yelling at kids. Like I would suggest if I were them, I would just put like a 16 and older, 18 and older, 21 and older allowed in the swim up bar area. To me, that would probably alleviate a lot of that problem. It just that was weird, right? That was a weird issue. Now that being said, let's go over the rooms that we saw, the rooms that we went through, some of the tours that I've seen, etc. The rooms aren't really special. They're the same cruise ship rooms that you've always seen. They're not bigger. They're not better. There was a little bit better storage layout in this boat, obviously, because they've had a lot of years to iterate on that. But that being said, We were in 2 balcony rooms, and again, it felt really small. There just wasn't a lot of room to do anything in there. And again, we had, me and my wife were in one room, and then the in-laws and the kids were sleeping in the other room. And like when they were sleeping and the bed was pulled out, like you couldn't move. That was probably the only thing. Now again, great service, great turn down. They did animals with the towels. The kids loved it. The balconies were phenomenal. You could open the balcony. There was a really cool way that they conjoined the rooms where you could open the bedrooms and then shut the big doors so that you would just come in the big door and you could go into either bedroom. Really, really cool. I like that a lot. So overall, phenomenal ship. Great ship. Would highly recommend going on it, assuming it's the biggest boat in the world. And go on there with the assumption that you're going on there to make the memory and pay to be on the biggest boat in the world, right? So for us, I have a coffee mug. I wish I would have grabbed it before I started recording, but I got a coffee mug that has the inaugural season with the icon of the seas. There's coins you can buy. There's memorabilia you can buy. Obviously, the pictures, right? They did a phenomenal job the entire way through. The kids had an absolute blast. You can tell Grandpa loves ice cream. I don't think there's a picture of him without an ice cream cone in it. The kids as well, right? But we did a dolphin excursion. We went to the private island. We had a great day at Coco Cay. Just the whole trip. They did an absolute phenomenal job. The balloon animals, the face painting, like just so much great stuff for kids. So I would highly recommend it. That being said, the cons, obviously the Wizard of Oz show didn't work, so I'm not going to count that as a con because I've heard it's phenomenal. I'm assuming when it's working, it'll be great. So I'm not going to hold that against them. The spread outness of the kids area versus everything else, like if you're an adult and you're in the kids area, you're stuck. Like it's super hard to be like, hey, honey, watch that. I'm going to go walk around, or I'm going to go grab a drink from the bar and be able to walk through the adults area and hang out and see what's going on. That whole thing was missed. Just because of the layout. And then obviously not being able to do the community things because they didn't have a big central pool with a big central deck and a big central like party area outside. Okay. That would be the only thing. The upsides of it was the Aquadome is incredible. The front of the ship with the hideaway, the coffee bar, they had like a literal bar for coffee drinks. So espresso martinis, frozen Irish coffees, unbelievable. Great bar addition. The multiple coffee shops, the Pearl, the shops, the high end, the specialty dining, all just so good. They did an absolutely incredible job with all of it. That being said, you are paying a premium for it. Like I said, we booked our cruise next year on Symphony. Massive ship, an amazing ship, beautiful ship. For the reason that I said is mainly with the kids is we want to be able to have that central area, and the Symphony obviously has that. So that was our review of the boat. That was our review of the trip. Again, if you guys want a recommendation, should you do it? As long as it's the biggest boat in the world, yes. That being said, like the guy when we were talking to book our next one said, you're going to pay a premium to be on this boat, obviously, as you guys saw between the price differences. He's like, but what that's going to do to all the other ships is bring the cost down. So if you want to take a great family trip, you don't care about being on the Icon, now is a great time to book, especially when the Star launches in a few months. I believe that's what it's called, or the Utopia, whatever the one is that's like the other huge boat. That's going to really start to drive down the cost on some of these other boats to fill them. So I think if you're looking for a great value, Icon is not it. I think if you're looking for the experience of being able to, we'll remember this forever, right? And my kids have talked about it for a year straight. We're going to go on the biggest boat in the world. We're going to go on the biggest boat in the world. We're going to go on the biggest boat in the world. And we went on the biggest boat in the world. I'll always have that memory. To me, it was worth the extra money to do. Now, that being said, if I had to pay what they were going to charge us now for this next year to do it, which is 1.5 times more than what we paid to do this year, again, I don't think I would do it. And that's the reason we chose not to do it again, was we've experienced the boat. an amazing, amazing ship, but I don't want to sit in Surfside for 5 days with my kids and spend 1.5 times the amount when we've really kind of explored the boat. We've seen what it's about. We've seen the shows, et cetera, et cetera. To me, not worth the price to do twice. Now, if I was just with my wife, completely different boat experience. Truly, I really feel like it would be two completely different trips because the boat is so big. There's so much to do. They do such a great job with entertainment. I really feel like it would be two completely different experiences. So I can't speak to that because I haven't done it. But I'm just telling you from my experience going with a family, if you want to take your kids and have that memory of the biggest boat in the world, definitely do it. Understand that you are going to pay an ungodly premium to do it. So save your money now, right? But that being said, 100% recommend the Icon of the Seas. Unbelievable ship. So much good. You know, if I had to rate it on a scale of 5, 4.95, right? Like the things that I complained about were so minor and are so easily fixable, in my opinion, to make this an absolute 5 out of 5 that, and again, that could be my personal preference. It really bothered me to see how the ship was being treated. And even like some of the carpets were getting stained, some of the walls were getting marks, and you could tell it was just asshole kids doing this. And to me, it's like, bro, this boat is so beautiful. It's so new. It's so big. It's so prestigious. It's world renowned. It's the biggest in the world. Like, just the lack of respect from some of the guests really, really bugged me. And then obviously how spread out it was because it is such a big ship. Took away from some of the experience that you get on a cruise. Only things that I can complain about. I'm not going to count Wizard of Oz against them. I think obviously if it's anything like the other shows, their entertainment on this boat, the best I've ever seen, hands down by a mile, on a boat or off a boat. I mean that. Just unbelievable. The talent and the shows and the lighting and the craftsmanship and the professionalism. Just, I can't say enough about it. I can't imagine how good it would have been had Wizard of Oz been great. So anyway, guys, I don't want to keep this video too much longer. We're already at 22 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you have any other questions about the boat, feel free to comment below or reach out to me on DMs, and I will be happy to answer them for you. Have an awesome day.